Well, my dogs aren't going to be happy with this one, but I think you and I will be. I was headed to the dog park with my two doggos this morning. I opened up the garage door, and what's sitting outside? But a package from UPS. And whenever there's gym gear outside, that means it's time to do an unboxing video. The doggos will have to wait for just a little bit. Hey everybody, it's Tim with GymCrafter.com, back at you with another unboxing video. And today we're going to be unboxing something that I wasn't planning on adding to my gym. A few weeks ago, the owner of Living.Fit reached out and asked me if I'd review some of his products. And one of the products that he really wanted me to try were his bumper plates. Now, if you've been following GymCrafter, I've recommended the exact same bumper plates as my number one choice for many, many years. In fact, I've never changed that recommendation. The Fringe Sport bumpers have always been my number one choice for bumper plates. So when the owner of Living Fit asked me if I wanted to take a look at their bumpers, I gotta be honest, I didn't want to at first. But then he sent me a link to a review done by my friend John over at Garage Gym Life. Now, if you're not following John over there, make sure you check out his YouTube channel. He does some really cool podcasts. I'm going to be on one pretty soon. He's a great follow, puts out a lot of good content, really good guy. Check him out. But he did a really good review, and he liked the Living Fit bumpers so much that he bought a whole bunch more on top of what was sent to him for review so that him and his wife could use those as their main bumper plates. And I've got to be honest, if it wasn't for John's endorsement, I probably would have told the owner of Living Fit no. But since John liked him so much, I had to see what the big deal was. So, like I said, on the way to the dog park today, I opened up my garage door and there they are. I've got a bunch of bumper plates from Living Fit to unbox. So let's take a look at them. All right, guys, I'm excited about this. I haven't put my hands on a new set of plates in a really long time. Now, when I bought those Fringe Sport bumpers, I must have gone to 15 different CrossFit boxes looking to try all of the different bumper plates that were out there before I decided on those. And since then, I literally haven't looked at a new plate ever, maybe online a little bit here and there. So I'm kind of excited about this. So let's take a look at these things. We're going to start with this 25-pound plate here. And as usual, these unboxings are live. I haven't seen these yet. You're going to get my honest first impression. So let's open up this 25-pound plate and take a look. By the way, cool recommendation. I know a lot of guys carry knives around now. I've got this tiny little keychain knife from Gerber for opening packages. I can't tell you how much I love this thing. I'll put a link down below. Totally off topic. But if you open a lot of boxes and you don't want to carry around a big pocket knife, this thing's pretty awesome. Ooh, all right. Wow. Okay, these are really cool. First of all, colored. So usually colored is an option. You pay more for it. The bumpers I have from Fringe Sport, their least expensive models are all black. Their next least expensive are their contrast bumpers, which are what you see on my wall, where they have different colored writing. This is nice because you can tell what weight's on your bar based on the color. You don't have to actually look and see what it is. So real cool. I've never had a set like this. The first thing, and this is going to be weird for you guys, but maybe not. There is almost no smell coming from these. Now, when you buy bumper plates, you're going to have a choice typically of virgin rubber or crumb rubber. I never recommend crumb rubber unless you're going to be working out outside. Those are a good solution for outdoor gyms. Other than that, the smell that comes off the crumb rubber, and crumb rubber is basically ground up tires that are held together by a binder. And the chemicals in that binder tend to smell really bad. They also tend to off-gas what are called VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, and basically bad stuff that you don't want to be breathing in. So I've always recommended virgin rubber bumper plates. That's what these are. And the smell is a big reason for that. My hands aren't going to smell when I'm done here. My gym's not going to smell like rubber. And the smell of the plates is almost non-existent. Now, it does smell a little bit like rubber because, well, it's made of rubber. But it's a completely non-offensive. The opposite end of that spectrum, and something I'd recommend, is never buy bumper plates from Titan Fitness. I recommend a lot of their stuff. That's not one of them. If you want a bumper plate that smells the worst of all bumper plates and stinks up your gym for years and the smell never goes away, the Titan Fitness plates are the way to go. With these, this is the opposite. So let's take a look at the printing on here. Pretty nice. Very well done. Really crisp and clean as far as the white. The raised lettering is really solid. I really like it. Really quality looking, quality feeling. The fit and finish on these is fantastic. The ring in the middle, the collar, is inset, which is nice. Yeah, it's definitely inset. And what that does is that keeps the metal of the of the collar in here from bumping up against the next plate. So that'll keep it from getting pushed out. A lot of times if you have the collars that stick out when you load your plates, they bump into each other. They end up knocking each other loose. This is also a new system. Now the inserts on the fringe sport plates are what are called hooked. They've got these little hooks in them. This is a hybrid metal rubber insert that supposedly is more durable than the hooked inserts. If it's as durable, that's great. And then this particular plate has, I believe, if I remember right, a lifetime warranty on it. Everything but their 10-pound plates have a lifetime warranty. I believe their 10-pound plates have a 2-year warranty, which is a little different than the fringe sport. Let's take a look at the rest of these guys. They've got a whole bunch more plates to open up, and then I also want to weigh them. All right, so here we've got a 10-pound plate. Now the 10-pound plates are gray, and I've got 2 of them here. So each box has 2 10-pound plates in it. Same fit and finish. Little bit of, there's a little bit of inconsistency in the paint on one of these letters, but again, I'm really looking close. One thing that you'll notice about 10-pound plates is they're typically a smaller diameter than 25. So let's see if that's the case with these. Now these, it looks like your 10-pound plate is the same diameter as the 25. Now in the fringe sports, the 10-pound plate is a little bit shorter. And the reason for that is if you were to drop a loaded bar, you want the weight to land on the 25-pound plate. You don't want any of the weight to land on the 10-pound plate. So that's the 10. That looks pretty solid. Again, fit and finish is great. Here's your 45-pounders. I really like this blue. This is kind of like a steel blue. It's a little bit darker than your traditional brighter blue of a 45-pound plate. I think it looks really sharp. Again, recessed here on the insert. Fit and finish looks really good. One thing I did notice on the 45 is, I'll show you there. I'm not sure what that's from. We'll take a look at the other one and see if they're both that way. If they're both that way, it's probably just a result of the manufacturing process and how they form these together. Here we've got the second 45-pound plate, and you still have just it's hard to describe. Hopefully you can see it on the camera, and I'll try and get a close-up picture of it. All right, guys, I wanted to get a shot of this just so you could see it because I did figure out. Now, I mentioned before that on the corners of the 45s, there are some little different colors. And what I noticed, looks like a seam. It's actually not a seam. What it looks like is it looks like as they were taking off the beveled edge on one side, that they took off a little bit more just to form the shape of the plate. So there's nothing wrong with these. It's not a seam that's going to come apart. It's not a manufacturing thing. It's just how they took the edge off of this, and that's it. So nothing's going to come apart. It's a non-issue as far as functionality of the plates go, but I wanted to make sure and get you guys a close-up of that so that you could see what I referenced in the video. Let's take a look and see what these things weigh. Got the 45-pound plate. Got my scale over here. So this first one is 44.8. Pretty darn good. Okay, 2 10-pound plates are 20 pounds on the nose. The 25-pound plate is 25 pounds exactly. And the other 45-pound plate is 45 on the nose. So all the plates weigh exactly what they should. There's one 45-pound plate that's 44.8. When I put it on the scale a second time, it was 45 exactly. Every other plate was right on the nose. So I think that first one is just how I set my scale on the ground. Everything weighs what it should. So before, when I mentioned that I'd gone to a bunch of CrossFit boxes to try out all kinds of different plates when I bought my set of plates for my gym originally, this is probably 6 or 7 years ago. Great way, by the way, to test new stuff out. Most gyms offer day passes, and it's a great way to go try out new gear, new equipment without having to join and without having to kind of guess by shopping online. But in that process, what I realized is that one of the most important things to check on plates is how they load onto the bar. Sometimes the inserts are too big and they get kind of wobbly and they don't stay stable when you're lifting, which is not a good thing. You don't want your plates wobbling around when you're lifting. Some of them were really, really tight and barely fit on the bar. And then when you had a bar like this is an E-coat, or it's not an E-coat, it's a Duracoat bar, but I've got a bar here that's a Cerakote sleeve. That Cerakote adds just a touch of thickness to that sleeve, so your standard diameter sleeve gets just a hair bigger. If the plate manufacturer made their inserts too tight, they don't fit on the sleeve, or it's a real tight fit, it ends up ruining the finish on your bar. So let's take a look and see how the Living.Fit plates load onto this bar. So 45. All right. Nice and smooth. There's a little bit of play, which you want. You don't want it exactly tight, but that fits real well. So that's a real nice fit for that plate. Let's try the 25. Same deal. Another thing that I just noticed, something that's real important for your bumper plates to have. These have a beveled edge, and that's really important. I believe it's Vulcan strength. Makes some really cool bumpers, but when I tried them, they're squared off, and I don't know if they still are. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. When you have a squared off bumper plate like that and they're laying flat on the ground, which they will eventually at some point, trying to get them up off the ground without this little bevel to get your fingers underneath is a pain in the butt. This is also nice because it allows you to grip the plate and pull it apart while it's on the bar. So if you're looking at plates, you always want a beveled edge like this. All right. Now the thinner 10s are usually a little looser just because they're thinner. The thicker the plate is, the more surface area there is on the sleeve, so the less they'll move like that. So you'll notice that these 10s do move less than the 25s, which move way less than the 45s. So that's not a function of the size of the hole, that's a function of the thickness of the plate. But I do want to show you, here's my fringe sports. It's pretty common for these things to be wide. And also, these are slightly smaller. So the 10s from the fringe sport are slightly smaller than the 10s from the Living.Fit. Just to make sure. You know what? I'm wrong. I take back what I said earlier in the unboxing. These are slightly smaller than the 45, which is exactly what you want. These are the same diameter as the fringe sport, so there is no difference there. So I misspoke earlier. That's what I get for trying to measure that on the plyo box instead of actually getting it on a bar pell first. But the smell is non-existent, which is huge for me, which is why I've mentioned it at least 400 times in this video. They load really well. The fit and finish is good. I really like the colors. Man, these are sweet. So I can't wait to lift with them. The durometer, the hardness, I don't really look at numbers too much. I'm going to have a couple of my folks that I train here. They do like to drop the bar. So they're going to be happy that I'm going to let them drop the bar with these. And we're going to do some testing between these and the fringe sport for the final review. But so far, I'm really liking these. And in fact, fit and finish wise, the Living.Fits are nicer. This is a nice kind of raised logo, but there's a bunch of little kind of wobbly edges around the side. The cutout isn't as crisp on the side of the letters. It kind of curves down, whereas the Living.Fit is a real nice crisp kind of delineation here. They're raised a little bit farther than the fringe sports are. I'm actually I can see why John liked these plates. I'm pretty impressed. So these are already, I can tell you, these would have been in at least the top 3 finalists when I was doing my testing originally, and I looked at those plates, and I looked at Rogues, I looked at Vulcans, I looked at Fringe Sport, I looked at a lot of the generic ones. A lot of the CrossFit boxes start on a shoestring budget, so there were a lot of cheap bumpers there that were all tacoed and bent and things like that. I got to mention the price of these. If you were to look at the Fringe Sport plates, the ones that I have, the ones that I've already recommended, a 160 pound, which is 245s, 225s, and 210s, which is exactly what I've got here. It would run you $409. With Living.Fit, you're at $345. So not only are these at least as good from what I'm seeing so far, the only difference between the two is that the 10-pound bumpers on Living.Fit have a 2-year warranty versus the lifetime warranty on the Fringe. I don't know that you ever need to drop a bar with just 2 10s on it. I guess if you're learning Olympic weightlifting and you're really starting with a lower weight, that might be important. But for everybody else, you and I are probably never going to drop a bar with just 10s on them. So I don't know how important that is. And the price difference is significant. So if you're looking for a new pair of bumpers, or a new set of bumpers, take a look at the Living.Fit, right? Living.Fit, I'll put a link below. There's all kinds of different combo packages. You can get them with their Cerakote barbell, which is nice, which you've seen me review before. But there you go. This is the Living.Fit bumpers unboxing. I can't wait to get to training with these. I've got some folks, like I said, who are going to be in here tomorrow who are going to be excited to train with new plates. And it's really cool. So thank you to John for doing the review on these over again, Garage Gym Life. Thank you to the owner of Living.Fit for sending these so that I could review, because I definitely wasn't in the market for new plates and I wouldn't have been exposed to these if you didn't kind of push the issue. So I appreciate that. And that's all I've got for this unboxing. So thanks for hanging with me. And I'm Tim from GymCrafter.